right, happy to be joined by College Football Hall of Famer and Super Bowl 31 MVP Desmond Howard, who I imagine is very excited to start this season. Desmond, it's also the start to a new era for Georgia Bulldogs football. Kirby Smart, the new head coach, a former player with the Bulldogs, now the man, his first ever head coaching position. Should Georgia fans have as much optimism as they seem to heading into his first season?
I think it's natural when you have a former player come back, and obviously he's experienced a great amount of success as a defensive coordinator, an understudy to one of the best, if not the best mind, especially defensive mind in the game today with Nick Saban at Alabama. So I think with everything he's bringing, the expectations are going to be high, and I think rightfully so. I'm curious to see, how he does his first game out the gate. I believe the North Carolina game is going to be a really, really tough matchup for them. UNC, obviously, when you think about UNC or you think about the ACC as a conference, you think basketball. But North Carolina, they play a pretty good brand of football. So it's going to be a big test for Coach Smart and his team right out the gate.
Yeah, in fact, right off the bat, one of the 4 top 20 matchups set for opening weekend. You mentioned North Carolina, though. They put up the points last year. No Marquise Williams, who's gone on to the NFL, but they were number 6 in the country in scoring last year, over 38 points a game. For those of us in the Georgia, Atlanta metropolitan area that might not know as much about the Tar Heels football team, do they still have that potent type offense that the Bulldogs will have to defend against?
That's a great question, and they do. They really do. They're an explosive team. They like to run some spread. I think offensively, what they do is they make you defend them in space, and that's what they're going to try to do to Kirby Smart's defense. They're going to try to make those guys defend them in space. They're not going to just run at you or attack you in between the tackles so much, but they're going to make sure you can defend the perimeter and make you defend them vertically. Now, North Carolina is going to be their defense too. Now they brought in Gene Chizik, and he really just did a tremendous job with that defense a year ago. And normally, when you have a new defensive coordinator, it takes a while for the players to get used to the expectations, where does the coach want you as far as the positions on the field and certain defensive calls. But now they've passed that honeymoon stage, and now they're going to be much more comfortable. So offensively, I want to see what the Georgia Bulldogs are able to do against this North Carolina defense too.
Yeah, speaking of offensively for Georgia, you certainly dealt with a fair amount of hype as the Heisman Trophy winner 25 years ago, so you know what that's about. There's a freshman, true freshman, coming in this year from Washington State, Jacob Eason, at quarterback. How much pressure is there on a player, particularly a true freshman, when there is so much hype with that player coming in?
Well, I think there's a tremendous amount of hype because of now the, social media. People have much more information on players. They have much more access to information on players than the players themselves. So I think that contributes to the hype, to the expectations. But, any hype or any goals should be self-imposed. I mean, when you come in with a bunch of hype and publicity, then I think that as a player, it's up to you to try to monitor that, try to contain that, and obviously the coaching staff too. I mean, you go out and get these high recruits, and you talk about them, because you want them to come to university. But then once you get them there, you got to kind of start to dial back all of the hype and all of the talk, and now it's like, okay, now you're on campus. These are the things that we need you to do. We need to mold you into this type of player to fit into our system, because you're not playing against high school kids anymore. Now you're playing in the SEC. Now you're playing against nationally ranked teams from different conferences. So now we need to help mold you into the player that we need you to be, so we can be successful and help you become successful also.
All right, Desmond, final question for you. A lack of success in Atlanta with Georgia Tech last season, coming off an Orange Bowl season. They went 3-9 last year. They opened up in Ireland against Boston College. Do you see the Yellow Jackets rebounding with that Paul Johnson spread option offense?
I really do, because I think that Paul Johnson, he's really a good coach. He's been around for a long time. That was a surprisingly down season for them last year. No one saw that. I mean, I didn't see that coming. I think they'll bounce back this year, and I think Boston College will be a good team for them to bounce back again. So I'm excited about this matchup.
All right, College Football Hall of Famer, Super Bowl 31 MVP, Desmond Howard. We appreciate your time. Thanks very much.
Thank you.